This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. You have the code into the machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you never stood here. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.com.
And do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Truckermouth, the podcast that gives you real insight into the trucking industry while providing a platform for your voice to be heard. Whether you're behind the wheel, managing logistics, or just passionate about the industry, this is the place to build confidence, share experiences, and stay informed. Join us as we tackle the challenges, celebrate the wins, and drive forward together.
Hello, everybody. I'm Truckermouth. Welcome to my underground studio, and you're on the road. On the road, we discuss issues affecting the American trucking industry and the United States and American citizens as a whole. Today, we're going to discuss autonomous vehicles, autonomous trucking. Autonomous vehicles are vehicles that are driverless. They drive by themselves. Why? Why do we need autonomous trucking? I can understand a cab, going around a city, 20, 30 mile an hour or something like that. And that's bad enough. But you want to put these autonomous trucks on the road with a fully loaded truck is a gross vehicle weight range GVWR of 80,000 pounds. You want to put them on the road. It's when you're out there on the road, your obstacles are constantly changing. And I'm all for technology and all, but it's going to be a long time before you're going to see these trucks on the road. They're saying 5-10 years. I don't know. I'd say longer because you're really going to have to modify this stuff. And I just don't get it. Why we got to have driverless trucks? But and then cab driver's going to say, well, we got to have driverless cabs. Well, I don't know about that either, but that's the way the world's going. So legislation action at state houses around the country discussing use of autonomous trucking on public roadways. People are scared of it. They're scared of this. Of course, it's bad enough, we're out there with people driving these trucks. And then you're going to have something out there that's just driving itself. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't need it. Like I said, I guess if I was a truck driver or a cab driver, I'd say, well, why do you need, autonomous cabs? But they're going to take jobs from people. And it just don't seem to me like it's a win-win at all for the American trucking industry.
Charles says, I remember when they used to put rails on the way up to the manufacturing facilities, and they did away with most of those to replace it with trucks. Yes,
Charles, they did a lot with rails. Yeah, with the train industry. It shipped a lot by train, and then we went to trucks because the trucks can go a lot more places than a rail car can. But nevertheless, so they say truck platooning technology will save fuel due to reduced aerodynamic drag, lessen traffic congestion, improve highway safety. How's it going to lessen traffic congestion? A truck's a truck. A truck's a truck. There's too many trucks. They say there's too many trucks on the road now. It's bringing freight prices down. And that's what these big transportation companies are saying. Big trucking companies are saying there's too many trucks out there to bring the cost of freight down. Well, what's this going to do? Especially with a truck that don't have to pay nobody to drive it. That's really going to hit the trucking industry. The American trucking industry is a dog eat dog anyway. And now we got this. But I don't see it. Okay, save fuel because they're going to run. What they're going to do is they're going to platoon, which is convoying pretty much. Small convoys, and yeah, it will. But any truck can do that. We can all convoy. Improve highway safety. How's it going to improve highway safety? They got a long way to go before they can. These trucks will be on the road. Tell you right now. What happens if there's smoke coming off of a brake in the back here, just a little bit? They could lead to a brake fire, which all us drivers, long-term drivers, know is very realistic. To have a brake fire. I personally never had a brake fire. I had smoking brakes already where I had to pull over and stop, let them cool down in the rest area. But he's I just don't get it. Well, we gotta do this. Critics, including motorcyclists, question how automated vehicles will react to them because motorcycles are small. Are these things going to pick up every little thing? And these motorcycles are probably going to be blowing by these platoons.
Now, Truckermouth, when you use those roadways, when your brakes go out and you pull off to the side and go up that hill, when you use those, do you get tickets for using those?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't get ticketed. You're pulling over because of a safety issue.
Okay, I was just wondering. I didn't know if you got ticketed.
No. Now
Okay.
you gotta wait. You gotta wait. If you see some smoke coming, you gotta wait till you can get to an area that's good to pull over. You just don't want to pull over on a major highway, and that'd be more of a safety issue than the brake would be. But yeah, you don't have to go far. I'm sure you can find somewhere on off ramp or on ramp something. So, Thomas Trucking Industry explicitly states testing and development will help happen with a human safety operator in the truck, while those are the ones taking drivers out of trucks. So there's going to be somebody in these trucks that's going to be, quote unquote, be able to save if something's going to happen. Well, how's that going to be? If something's in the making with this, how's he going to be able to stop it? I mean, they got to be able to. I think the level 4 trucks, you have a truck driver in there, and the level 4 Thomas vehicles there's a truck driver in there that he can sleep while the truck is going, and then I guess he takes over when he gets up or something, so they don't lose any time on the road there. Yeah, but if you're going down, okay, if you're going down a hill and lose your brakes, we just had a viewer chime in here about the sand traps when you're going down the mountain and your brakes go out. You're going down the mountain and brakes go out. Here in Pennsylvania, anyway, we have like a big accordion with water in it. And then also the sand traps that go up there, but I'd rather hit the sand. You hit one of them things with the water, you're going to mess your truck up. And if you go up you hit a sand trap because your brakes go out going down a hill, you're going to be up in there, and you're going to pay $1,500 to be towed out of there. So you probably won't get ticketed because, there's a safety issue, but you're going to pay, the company's going to pay, or if you're going to pay $1,500 to get you pulled out of there. That's for sure. That's probably what the viewer here was asking about. But, yeah, they're the ones taking people out of trucks, and they're I just don't get why we need driverless trucks out there. And I'm all for technology. I just don't understand why we need driverless trucks. Because somebody said, well, I can do this and make money on it. Yeah, and I'll sell it to people. Yeah, but
that's exactly what it is.
Well, that's exactly what it is. But I mean, how are they going to fuel themselves?
I tell you what, with the way they save money, if this is the way they were going about, the money that they save, they'll figure out a way to invent a way for it to refuel yourself.
Well, what they'll probably do, in this podcaster's opinion, is they'll probably have set areas where these trucks are going to fuel. And they'll probably all fuel at the one time if they're running diesel. Now, if they're running electric trucks, these electric.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
They only have a range. They only have a range of 300 miles.
Right.
And then you got to check. It takes a while to charge. So I don't know how the whole platoon. If they're platooning, say 6 trucks are all going to pull in there unless they have a setup or a reservation there where, hey, we're all going to pull in here, and that's on them. I don't like them. Another thing about this, you got a cybersecurity issue with these autonomous trucks. You got these people in Russia and China and everywhere, Japan, wherever else, hacking into these Fortune 500 companies, into their databases. Okay, biggest world companies in the world, hacking into their databases and hold them hostage. You mean to tell me they can't? They're good. They know the signal for these autonomous vehicles is coming off a satellite. You mean to tell me they can't scramble that and make this dangerous? They definitely can. They definitely can. There's no two ways about it. And that creates an issue right there. It's a cybersecurity issue. I don't know how to go stop that. They can say, well, we'll encrypt this and that. No. People can, if you can get into freaking, Fortune 100 companies, big, huge companies that have their own security on their stuff and get in there, you mean to tell me, and nuclear power plants, you mean to tell me they can't hack into these trucks? So, Thomas Trucking Industry explicitly states testing will be done with a human. Yeah. Despite the fact that autonomous vehicles will lead to 0 deaths, there continues to be real-world situations in which autonomous vehicles have devastatingly failed. These little cars are failing. They did test run out there in Pittsburgh. These little cars are failing, hitting people, hitting other cars at points. You know what? I mean 0 deaths. Yeah, your mind if they think it's going to be 0 deaths. All right, technology is going to have to come a long way before you're going to see these trucks on the road. And as you can obviously state, I'm not for them because it seems to me that we don't need them and we don't want them. The FMCA is considering establishing a requirement that they will need to notify that they will be operating autonomous vehicles in the interstate commerce without human drivers well in advance. Yeah, because people are scared of them. They got to tell them well in advance that they're coming through. They're coming up on I-80 here in PA. We got 6 trucks coming through. Yeah. And if my opinion, and this is podcast's opinion, and in mine only, and MBR Radio does not specifically go along with my statements, but they should be governed at 60 mile an hour. 55, but see, when you have major roadways that are 70 mile an hour or 75 mile an hour, that ain't gonna get it. I mean they're going too slow, and that causes more of a safety issue than the platooning was for these drivers' trucks. So they gotta do something. FMCA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, seeking information on what requirements should be done imposed on people performing assisted duties for motor carriers operating level 4 or 5 autonomous driver systems equipped motor vehicles. Yeah, they should be held accountable. Y'all know. Yeah, they should be held accountable because you don't do nothing in the trucking industry without serious safety issues. And I'm sure that they're not going to let these trucks operate. They're going to let these trucks operate without serious ratifications on them. So, I mean, anything you do in the American trucking industry is safety, safety, safety. Because you're out there and you're dealing with people's lives. You're traveling down roads that, you know, people are traveling all the time, and they want to make sure you're safe.
Truckermouth, you ready to go on break?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
so what?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's time for a commercial break. And when we come back, I'll be doing road rage, and I'll see you back on the road in a couple.
It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandals' 16 all-inclusive, luxury-included, adults-only resorts. Or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get Thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
We're back?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're back.
Okay, we're back. We're back on the road. I'm Truckermouth. It's time for Road Rage.
Road Rage!
Road Rage is a segment I do each show that involves the current events of the world, how it affects America, veterans issues, and Americans as a whole. Before we get started on this segment here, I want to say something. I want to tell you, there's definitely people out there that deserve their military compensation. Definitely. I mean, you got people returning from wars. You got, people that combat vets, people that seen a lot of things and had a hard time dealing with it, whatever the situation may be. There's definitely people out there that deserve their compensation. But today's segment is on the VA disability, service-connected disability rating. Service-connected disability. Service-connected disability is a disability that was service-connected. Something happened in the military where you were hurt, something happened mentally. I mean, that you are getting compensated for because it affects the rest of your life. Okay, but to this podcaster, the service-connected VA per spent disability is the biggest misuse of federal funds since welfare. Okay, I'll tell you right now, it is. People abuse this like everything else. If you outline it where people can do this, they're going to do it. And it's the government's fault. If you scroll down Facebook, you'll see all kind of lawyers claiming to want to help veterans get their disability service connected. Why? Because they know they can make money on it. It's a scam, okay? It's a scam, and we understand it. It's they're tightening up on it, and then they're tightening up on it on what should have been. Now you got people out there on this service-connected disability at 100%, and they're working for the VA. If you are disabled, you're disabled. Okay. Now we got people in the program here that are on disability, and a lot of them deserve it. Okay, they definitely deserve it. They got what come to them, but it's for people that were in a war or combat or something, not because you stubbed your big toe in boot camp, okay? Not because you ate bad chow in the chow hall and got sick. For people that are hurt in military action, in combat, or in a combat era anyway. So that's why it's a racket. And I actually contacted one of these lawyers on Facebook, and I got no response from them. So I did contact one of these years ago because I had something happen to me pretty bad. I probably shouldn't say the name of but I'm going to because I contacted Trajector, okay? I talked to him a minute, and I talked to somebody in Virginia, right? It seemed on the up and up. This company was formed by a former examiner for the VA, okay? So then I started talking to him, and I started calling him up about things. Their call offices are in the Philippines. So you're talking about government information to a point to people who are not even American citizens, let alone government workers. And then I started looking at the reviews of this place, right? And all 90% of the reviews were bad. 90% of them were bad. And I told these people, I don't want you doing nothing for me. Actually, I was arbitrarily binded with them because I did kind of sign the contract online, but I said, I don't want you doing nothing for me. How is this? If you're a former examiner for the VA and you start a company up like this to help veterans get their disability, why you got to go over, have a call center in the Philippines? And you got to talk to these people about certain issues? No, man. I said, I don't want you doing nothing for me. Well, they let me out. They bothered me for a little bit, but their reviews were terrible. Horrible. I mean, stories about people, man. And they told me that they can get me service-connected disability because I was on the Coral Sea when I was in the Navy. Okay? And exposed to chemicals on the Coral Sea. They told me they can get this for me, that all kind of angles they had, because government has it outlined like that. I told them I didn't want service-connected disability for that. I want it for what happened to me in the Army Reserves while I was on active duty in Aberdeen Proving Grounds on AIT, Aberdeen Proving Grounds, Maryland, Edgewood training base, which I was denied. I was denied it 2 different times. And you talk to these VSO officers, this one around here was telling me, well, do your ears ring or you're around jets or that? Dude, he knows it's a scam. He knows you can get it for this and that. I'm not trying to get service-connected disability for anything but what happened to me. Not because I was on the USS Coral Sea and exposed to this or that. No. I want it because what happened to me. And what happened to me was we're down in AIT, down at APG, Edgewood Training Base. It was our first weekend that our platoon got liberty, and we all came back, and there was mutual combat going on. And I went to my room and laid in my bunk. Well, you're in the Army, we're all fighting. So I went and laid in my bunk, and they came in and tied me up. And I woke up, and then they come in and were beating on me. I was beat up. I was assaulted multiple times, okay? Well, I'm tied up in my bunk with sheets and that. And I was after I was all done, I tried to get up and I didn't know my feet were tied. And I tried to get out of my bunk and my feet kicked out and went out and smacked my head on an angle iron of the other bunk beds and was knocked out and lay there bleeding out. And a Century Watch found me. Okay, so obviously I didn't make this up. So then they came and got me, scooped me up, okay, took me to the hospital on base at APG, which there was a holiday. It was the 4th of July, I believe it was. And there was a sign in the door, we're closed, or I'll see you, we went away for the weekend. So they had to take me to a hospital off base. I went to the Hartford Memorial Hospital in Maryland and got stitched up and all that. And they almost had to give me a blood transfusion because I was out of blood. But nevertheless, come back and they had me sign a paper. The captain in that E8 told me, well, yeah, blanket party. Told me, well, we want you to sign a paper saying it's your fault. Now, I was 26 at the time. I was a little older than these guys. So I went in there trying to get my life straightened back out because I was a mess. That's why I did this. And some of the other guys were only 18, 19, 17, 18, 19 years old. I didn't want to see them. They were doing the same thing. They were trying to get their lives going. So they were really adamant about me signing this paper, that it was my fault, that I took responsibility for it. So when they brought me over there, when it came time to do it, they're like, well, we can't make you sign this, but it looked good on you. So I didn't know. I'm AIT. I didn't know much about the Army. I thought, well, okay. I signed the paper. I hear they threw the one guy out of the Army because of this. Now, if I signed the paper saying it was my fault, why'd they throw him out? He came to me. I said, there's nothing I can do, dude. Nothing I can do for you. That's the only reason I want service-connected disability. I didn't even know about this. I didn't even know I could get any money, but I thought, well, if I can, and this happened to me, I should have been getting it. Never knew about the service-connected disability ratings until I was in a rehab in 2009 in the VA. I was in a rehab, okay? Half of the people there were getting service-connected disability. The other half were claiming PTSD. They were soldiers. They were over in Iraq and all that, which maybe some of them had it. And yeah, I mean, the other half were trying to get it, and they were telling me about this, and I was like, really? I mean, I got the T-shirt to wear my wound. I got the T-shirt to wear it right here. Now I got, that's the only reason that I want service connection, not because if I was on the Coral Sea and I was exposed to this, exposed to that. Now they're coming out with this AFFF, aqueous form filming foam lawsuits. I was exposed to that. I don't have cancer or nothing. They thought I did. I got tested for a nodule on my kidney, and they tested it for but it finally came back clear. So when everybody knows somebody that has a service-connected disability rating. I guarantee you everybody knows somebody. Why? Because you were in the Air Force and your ears ring now because you were too close to jets. Well, why don't you have your PPD on, protective devices on your ears? It ain't all the military's fault. And it's an abuse thing. And I know people that's getting it who definitely don't deserve it. It should be outlined that you had to be at least in a wartime era. I mean, stuff happened to people when they were home on leave, and they're getting, just because they're in the military, it's service connected. It ain't right. It's abuse. They took away all these VA jobs, okay? They took away all these VA jobs. Don't take the VA jobs away. Kick some of these people off of this shit, off of this service connected disability. When this first came out in 1917, following the passage of the War Risk Insurance Act, World War I, later became the Veterans Benefits Administration. Under the act, provided compensation for veterans who were injured or became ill as a result of military service. Yeah, military service. Not because you ate bad food in the chow hall or started your big toe in boot camp. All right? You're raking the government. In 2022, the VA distributed approximately $125 billion in disability compensation. It represents 45% of the VA total spending that year. Increased more than fourfold since 2000. In 2023, the VA disability grew to $149.4 billion. They're showing out. 50% of what the VA is paying out is going out to service connection, and then not things that, like I said, and like I said, I want to say it again, that there's definitely people out there that deserve what they're getting. Well, if you stubbed your big toe boot camp, or ate some bad food in the chow hall, okay, or you heard a jet engine and your ears ring, guess what? You don't deserve it, dude. Okay? And like I said, this is this podcaster's opinion, and definitely not that MVR radio. We're set up to help vets returning from combat with injuries. Yeah, injuries from combat, not what I just stated. Beating, they could not work or needed help. This podcaster's opinion, the VA Service Connect disability raise, the biggest misuse of money ever. I say it's right up there with welfare. And thanks for coming on the road. Thanks for coming on the road. I'm Truckermouth. And I'll see you next time on the road with Truckermouth. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.